ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. Namaste, dear all. A warm welcome to you for yet another session on Rudradhyaya. And over to Vishwa sir for the class.
ॐ यो माग्ने भागिनगं सन्तमथा भागं चिकीर्षति अभागमग्ने तं कुरु मामग्ने भागिनं कुरु नमो ब्रह्मणे धारणं मे अस्त्वनिराकरणं धारयिता भूयासं कर्णयो श्रुतं माच्योढ्वं ममामुष्य ॐ नमः श्लोक्याय च वसान्याय च नमः शम्भवे च मयो भवे च नमः शङ्कराय च मयस्कराय च नमः शिवाय च शिवतराय च नमस्ताराय. Namaste, everyone, and welcome back to the continuation of Rudradhyaya. I think last time around we had kind of stopped at a very, very crucial junction, I believe. Namastaraya is where we had stopped. And very interestingly, I wanted to share a fact that there is a procedure kind of thing, almost like a tradition kind of thing, which is followed, where ghanta nada is done during this particular anuvaka. Namasomaya cha rudraya cha, namastamraya cha. And some people do the ghanta nada throughout the anuvaka, and some people do not do that. Okay, so I just wanted to clarify a few things. Uh, it is not mandatory that you have to do the Ghantanada throughout the Anuvaka. You have to start with Namasomaya. And even though it is all Anugraha Murti, the entire Anuvaka is about Rudra's Anugraha Murti. So we are praying to Bhagavan's Anugraha Murti. Even then, in spite that, the fact remains that only till Namastaraya the Ghantanada has to be done, because it is supposed that when they do the Ghantanada should ideally end in Namastaraya. And because in all the other yajus that you can see, it has got two names. Okay, Namasomaya cha Rudraya, Namastamraya cha Arunaya, okay, and then Namashangaya cha Pashupataye, and then we have Nama Ugraya cha Bhimaya, and then we have got Namo Agre Vadhaya cha Dure Vadhaya, Dure Vadhaya cha, and then Namo Hantre cha Haniyase cha, Namo Vrikshebhyo Harikeshebhyah. Okay, this is where it ends. And the only nama of Paramatma that has got one name, it is Tara. Namastaraya in Padapatha, it is Namastaraya. That's it. It ends with Namastaraya because Tara, as we have previously seen, Tara means Pranava. Tara is a word that is very much indicating pranava, because the reason why Ghantanada must be done till that Namastaraya is quite simple, because Tara means the ultimate or the supreme thing. And Pranava, when that Ghantanada is done, it actually gives up that Pranavanada. It is closer to Pranavanada. That Omkaranada comes very closer in Ghantanada. And we have been wrongly doing the Ghantanada, first and foremost. We simply say that Akamarthantu Devanam, Gamanarthantu Rakshasam. Kurve Ghantarvan Tatra Devatah Lanchanam. First and foremost, 90% of the Ghanta that exists in the market, when I say market, in our whole households, is all absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish. None of them are proper Ghanta. Okay. And secondly, the training in how to The training about how to do that ghanta nada is not there. Whether ghanta should be held, in which hand we should hold ghanta. Should we hold it in right hand or left hand? Is it allowed to hold ghanta in left hand? If we are going to place ghanta in the puja room, should it be on the right side of Bhagavan or should it be on the left side of Bhagavan? So many questions. These are all food for thoughts. I'm not going to answer any one of them, but I just want I just want all of you to start thinking about these things because these are very important elements. Okay. However, when we say Namastaraya, that's when Ghantanada should ideally end. And when that Ghantanada ends, there is a series of the sound should easily end in the sense it just passes on very slowly in the proper ghanta. When the proper ghanta nada is done, then you can hear that omkara, and omkara slowly takes you into that nada, into that bindu level. That is the reason why it is ended at namastaraya, and this is exactly where we had also concluded our previous session. Now, from here onwards, it's the most frequently used mantra and most popular amongst all the Anugraha Murtis of Paramatma. He is addressed here as Shambhu and Mayobhu, Shankara, Mayaskara, Shiva, and Shivatara. 6 names of Paramatma. First and foremost, let us see what is Namah Shambhaveja, Mayobhaveja. Shambhu means Sham Sukham Bhavayati iti Shambhu, not Bhavati. Sham Sukham Bhavayati. Bhavayati means he who entrusts auspiciousness to every single creature is called as Shambhu. He is the reason that things are auspicious. He who is responsible for everything that is auspicious is called as Shambhu. Yeah, how beautiful it is that every time we Kshantavyo me Paradha Shiva 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 Bho Shri Mahadeva Shambho. Okay, in the Aparadha Kshamapana Stotra, Shankara Bhagavadpadaha has used Shiva thrice and Shambhu once with Mahadeva in between. It doesn't happen similar just like that. It's not a coincidence. It's not that he's not a mediocre poet like us where we have to do all this magic. No, no, they don't do such kind of fancy poetry. That's all for the no, stage poets, where people want to showcase or highlight their talent of poetry. Poetry is not for talent show. I'm sorry. Okay, I can write in this chandas, I can write in that chandas, I can answer questions in poetry, I can answer 8 people, 10 people, 100 people, 1,000 people. Yeah, poetry is not meant for that. I'm extremely sorry if it has hurt anybody's feelings. I don't care. Because poetry is meant for a different purpose. It is na anrishih kurute kavyam is what the Shastras say. He has to be a rishi. It means that the poetry that we are talking about, it should be rishi tulyam. It is supposed to be Veda tulyam. It's not just about merely adding words that sound fancy and that make us go like, oh wow, what a poem, what a poem. It's a Daridra poem. Not like that. The poetry, if it has to become shloka, it has to become shloka. Let me put it in that manner. We have already seen Nama Shlokya Yacha Avasanya Yacha. The word shloka is used for Veda, by the way. The whole of Veda is called as shloka, by the way. Okay, and when we hear Ramayana, it is said that shoka shlokatvam agataha. The shoka that Valmiki experienced that turned into shloka is what we hear. Why the word specifically shloka has been used? Because shloka means Veda. That is the exact proof that exists for the line that we generally say Veda pratyetasadasi sakshat Ramayanatmana. There is no difference between Veda and Ramayana. Because it's the same exact word. Veda, the entire Veda can be summarized in Gayatri's 24 aksharas. The same 24 aksharas of Gayatri is expanded in 24,000 shlokas in Ramayana. Where is the difference? There is no such difference at all. So, therefore, if I write, it has to be shloka. It cannot be manoranjana padya. I know, coming from the Sahitya Shastra background, I'm critiquing it because it has gone to dogs. That long ago, not now, long time ago. So much so that Bana himself had to say that, Bana Bhatta himself had to say that, Santishvana ivasankyaha jati bhajo grihe grihe. He mentions that there are hundreds and thousands of poets who claim the name of being a poet. Like dogs. Dogs are always like that, no? Street dog menace in India. No, nobody needs to speak anything about that. And just like that, street poet menace, a street dog like poet menace existed long ago during Banabhatta's time. And then he says, Utpadakana Bahavaha. There are not many people who have the ability, who can write poetry, who can create that poetry, and it can be turned into a mantra. Let me give you one example. Anandavardhana, in his critical work Dhvanyaloka, I know this is going somewhere else, but I need to put an end to this topic so that we can all move happily to the next topic. Okay, in his work Dhvanyaloka, he takes names of three poets: Valmiki, Vyasa, Kalidasa Prabhatayah, Dvitrah Panchashava Mahakavayah. The reason why he has taken three poets is all three of them and the works of all these three poets is no less than Veda. Nobody has told you this, right? Nobody would have said that, would have compared, would have articulated saying that Kalidasa's words are equivalent to Veda mantras. They are. They are equivalent to shlokas. They are equivalent to mantras. In the Mithila Parampara, I don't know if I have said this elsewhere or here, or I don't remember this, but in Mithila Parampara, where I had the good fortune of working for 3 years, there is a special tradition where they give mantropadesha, especially for the up and coming poets. You know what mantropadesha they do? For those who do not have the Vak Shakti, for those who cannot read any Shastra, they initiate them into Shastra Parampara. You know by what mantra they initiate them into this Shastra Parampara? Through Raghuvamsham. They do the Purascharanam of Raghuvamsham. Purascharanam is how many ever shlokas are there, that many times of Raghuvamsha Parayanam they do. It is no less than a mantra because it begins with Vagartha Vivasambarto Vagartha Pratipattaye Jagatah Pitaro Vande Parvati Parameshwaro. Such is the power because he is Shambhu. Paramatma, Parameshwara is Shambhu. Sham means Sukham Bhavayati. This is one meaning. Another meaning is Sham here refers not only to auspiciousness, but Sham, the word Sham here refers to Aihikam Sukham, the external happiness that we experience. The worldly pleasure is called as Sham. So he who brings that worldly pleasures, or he who grants us that worldly pleasure, is called as Shambhu. And then we have Mayo Bhuve Chanamaha. Mayo Bhave Chanamaha. Mayo Bhu is the word. Maya also means Sukha. Mayaha Sukham Bhavayati iti Mayo Bhuhu. Okay. If both Sham and Mayaha, if both these words mean Sukham, then what is the difference between Sham and Mayaha? What is the difference between this first Sukha and the second Sukha that has been mentioned with the word Mayaha? Sham is Aihikam Sukham, whereas Mayaha is Amushmikam Sukham, Atyantikam Sukham. Okay. One is Laukika, another one is Alaukika. One is external, another one talks about the internal auspiciousness or inner auspiciousness. One is external happiness or ananda, external bliss. Another one is internal bliss or inner bliss. So he is Shambhu, he is Mayobhu. Okay. Namah Shambhavecha, Mayobhavecha. Or there is yet another meaning where he says, Aihikamushmika Rupena va Abhyudaya Nishrayasa Rupena va Bhedaha. This is what Bhatta Bhaskara writes. How do you differentiate between Sham and Mayaha? Either Aihika and Amushmika or Abhyudaya and Nishrayasa. Sham refers to the auspiciousness in the Trivarga, Dharmartha Kama. That Dharmartha Kama glory or auspiciousness is called as Sham, whereas moksha related auspiciousness, chitta shuddhi and yoga vigna nivarana, atma vigna nivarana, all these kind of things are indicated by Mayaha. Okay, this Atma Vigna Nivaranam is also equally important. Sometimes we may ignore it. Okay, we keep hearing this. Just a second. Sorry, I've had a marathon series of lectures today since morning. I've been continuously speaking from 10 o'clock, so it's been quite tiring for me. So that's why, a little bit of sip of water here and there. So yeah, as I was mentioning, Aihika and Amushmika is one categorization. Another categorization is Abhyudaya and Nishrayasa. I was talking about Yoga Vigna. It's not that Vigna always does not only refer to the Laukika Vigna, the external obstacles that we face. Even for yoga sadhana, there are several yoga vignas that Yoga Shastra itself talks about. There are somewhere around 18 yoga vignas that have been listed by Patanjali in the Yoga Sutras. Okay, Vyadhis, Dhyana, etc., etc. He lists them out. And there are categorizations of yoga vigna. For a beginner, there are certain yoga vignas. For an intermediate person, there is certain yoga vignas. And for an advanced person also, there is some yoga vignas. The most advanced yoga vignas are the siddhis, which he deals in an entire chapter. You can imagine how much of emphasis has been done or given by Patanjali on this part. He considers every single siddhi as a yoga vigna. That is why we have the third pada in Yoga Sutras called as Vibhuti Pada. The whole purpose of Vibhuti Pada is to highlight that you may get all these siddhis, but you are not supposed to stop at these siddhis, because none of these siddhis are going to help you in attaining samadhi. They are going to create an obstacle. They are going to create a hurdle in your pursuit of samadhi. That is the purpose. That is the reason why Yoga Vigna is mentioned. Now, when we seek the blessings of Paramatma, when we call him Mayobhuhu, he is the one who brings auspiciousness. He is the one who brings that Mangalyam to yoga vignas as well, to Atma Marga vignas as well. Therefore, when we say Shambhu, Shambhave, Mayobhave, Shambhu is the one who brings auspiciousness in the external world, whereas Mayobhu or Mayobhave is the one who actually brings auspiciousness in our inward journey. So that is Namah Shambhavecha, Mayobhavecha. Both of them are Sukha Karayitritvam. They are the ones who are responsible for creating a suitable environment where the experience of sukha becomes feasible, becomes easier. That is called as sukha karayitritvam. Sukha karta is different. Sukha karayita is different. Sukha karta means directly he initiates that sukham. Sukha karayita is that he provides a suitable environment for sukha to be experienced. So with the word Shambhu and Mayobhu, we are seeking that favorable environment to be provided by Paramatma for the auspiciousness in both external and the inner world. Namah Shambhavecha, Mayobhavecha. And then we move on to the next two words. Namah Shankaraya Mayaskaraya cha namaha. Many a times while chanting, people make this horrible, horrendous mistake. Namashankaraya, Chamayaskaraya. It almost sounds as if Chamaya is a word. Just like, Yavananam Pataye Namaha. You remember in the Namo Hiranyabhave Anuvaka, there is Yavananam Pataye, Vananam Pataye Namaha. Namo Rudraya, Yavananam Pataye. Yavanana, that should not happen. Similarly, here as well, when people actually chant it, well, because they are so enthusiastic to chant Rudram, what they will do is they will end up saying that Namah Shambhave Chamayo Bhave Cha Namah Shankaraya Chamayaskaraya. No. Even while taking a breath, say, pause is allowed because we don't have that kind of capacity. But the pause has to be meaningful pause. And you're not supposed to pause the mantra in that exact swara. Nobody knows this. I mean, generally people don't know this. Those who have done proper Vedadhyanam know this. They don't end mantra like this. Suppose I have to take for example, I have to take a breather in Shankaraya, let me show it now. Namo Vrikshebhyo Harikeshebhyo Namastaraya Namah Shambhavecha. This is Samhita Patham. but I have to take a breather. Oh, yeah, I want to end it at Namastaraya. How would I end? I will not end it like Namo Vrikshebhyo Harikeshebhyo Namastaraya. No, that is utterly wrong. You are not supposed to end it like that. If you are supposed to take a breather, you are supposed to end it like Namo Vrikshebhyo Harikeshebhyo Namastaraya. Take a breather. And then Namah Shambhave cha Mayobhave cha Namah Shankaraya cha Mayaska Shankaraya cha. See, you saw that small pause. Shankaraya cha. You can take a breather there and then continue Mayaskaraya. You don't have to say Namah Shankaraya, Chamayaskaraya. Horrible, horrible thing. We have to be careful about these kind of things as well. Anyway, coming back to the word Shankaraya and Mayaskaraya. Shankara is a beautiful word. Okay, and the popular meaning is Sham Karoditi Shankaraha. He who does auspiciousness or he who bring auspiciousness is called as Shankara. By merely taking the name of Shankara, by uttering the word Shankara, it brings auspiciousness to you. See, we all have heard the famous story of Ajamila. Okay, whatever was the impact of the name of Narayana for Ajamila is the same kind of impact with the word Shankara as well. Okay, that is the reason why I think very recently, Sannidhanam of Jagadguru Vidhushekar Bharati Swamiji, I think he gave an Upadesha of Namah Shankaraya. It is a mantra that has been prominently given as an Upadesha. Even otherwise, Shankaraya Namaha. Just by taking the name of Shankaracharya, by uttering the name Shankara itself is sufficient to bring that auspiciousness to us. Namah Shankaraya Ekam Vishaya Sukhaparam Aparam Moksha Sukhamiti Tayor Vivekaha. Sayanacharya finally breaks the silence and he mentions that one talks about one Sham talks about Aihika Sukham, Vishaya Sukham, Mayaha talks about Moksha Sukham. And he beautifully mentions what is the meaning of the word Shankara. So he says that Pitradi Rupena Sham Laukika Sukham Karoti iti Shankaraha. Shankara is basically in the form, he appears in the form of father and other elderly people and creates that environment of auspiciousness around us. And we always feel kind of auspicious when we are around elderly people. You just get that sense. It cannot be put into words, it cannot be expressed. Just their mere presence matters a lot, and it's not them. You should not be crediting it to them. It is always Paramatma, it is always Bhagavan, because he is Shankara. Therefore, he is present there. Pitradi Rupena Shankaroti iti Shankaraha. How exactly does he invoke that auspiciousness in us? Through the different forms of father, guru, etc., etc. Therefore, he is called as Shankara. And then, how does he ensure this moksha sukham? Mayaskaraha. Mayaskaraha is he uh, creates that Mayaha, he creates that Sukham. See, Shankaraha is he creates that Sukham in the Laukika world, a sense of safety, a sense of belongingness, a sense of blissfulness. All these things are created in the form of being a teacher or being a guardian, being a parent, etc., etc. So, all those forms, if we have ever felt safe, माँ के आंगन में etc etc, all those emotional things that we say, that is all Shankara. Okay, all those emotions are one-sided. On the basic thing is who is responsible for creating such kind of healthy environment for myself. That is Paramatma. Therefore, he is called as Shankara. Namah Shankaraya cha and Mayaskara. How will he create this Atma Sukham? आचार्यादि आचार्य शास्त्रादि रूपेण मोक्ष सुखम करोति इति मयस्करः सायणभाष्यम् आचार्य रूपेण शास्त्र रूपेण वा in the form of a guru or in the form of an acharya, in the form of shastras as well. So one should not be ignoring shastra. We should not be deleting them, saying that all shastras are useless, all shastras are outdated. No, they are not. Shastra is nothing but a form of Paramatma. You should respect that. Okay. So therefore, Mayaskaraya Namaha. Uh, right. One is Vishaya Sukham, all these things are done. Then we move on to the next two. Namah Shivaya cha Shivataraya cha Namaha. Shiva and Shivatara. If you have studied a little bit of Samskrita, then you will understand that Shiva, Shivatara, Shivatama is like comparative and superlative. That's all. Shivatara is comparative. Shivatama is superlative. Good, better, best kind of thing. No, Shiva means Kalyana Rupaha. He himself is Kalyanamaya. Shwashreyasam Shivam Bhadram Kalyanam Mangalam Shubham. Shiva means Kalyanam. Shiva, the very word Shiva means auspiciousness. You don't have to worry. Okay. Many a times when this is a very common practice, I'm very sure most of you have heard it, most of you might practice it as well. Whenever we hear something absolutely wrong, or when we hear things that are a little disturbing for us, so immediately what do? We say Shiva Shiva. We say Shiva Shiva. And it's a very natural response that we get. The reason why we say Shiva Shiva is whatever inauspiciousness that might have happened, that Amangalam is very, very destructive. And we have not paid attention to Mangala because all thanks to some of the Shastras and Shastrakaras, that we have reduced the concept of Mangala to a Vada in Nyaya Shastra and Vedanta. Mangala Vada. Anybody who has studied that, they will understand, oh, Mangalavada. I've studied Mangalavada, I did Shastrartha, Vakyartha on Mangalavada. What is the use? You did not understand what is the whole purpose of auspiciousness. See, my guru used to say that until and unless that Papa Pariharam happens, until and unless you get rid of all the Papa, we have no idea how enormous is the baggage of Papa that we carry. Okay, until and unless all the papa is gone, there is no way that you can climb up in yoga sadhanam or in atma sadhanam. It is impossible. Therefore, it is necessary for us to get rid of all the papam. So, whatever little papam that we have encountered immediately, how do we get rid of that? Is there a way that knowingly, forcefully, unknowingly, mindfully, mindlessly, we would have committed plenty of papas? How to get rid of all those papas is the question. There is a one-stop destination for all of that. Shiva. Okay, Rudradhyaya. We have already seen what is the power of Rudradhyaya in the beginning. What all things can be eradicated by Rudradhyaya. And the one particular mantra, and if you do this Mahanyasa while performing Rudra Abhishekam, you will see that most of the mantras are all sandwiched. Samputikaranam. Samputikaranam of many mantras is done with Namah Shambhave cha Mayobhave cha Namah Shankaraya cha Mayaskaraya cha Namah Shivaya cha Shivataraya cha. These six names are considered very, very, very auspicious. One of the strongest mantras, one of the most powerful mantras that exist. So Shivaya, he is Kalyan Rupa, and he is not just Swayam Nishkalmashaha. There is no Kalmasha in Paramatma. And just to remember that Nishkalmasha Vastu brings that auspiciousness, brings that, how do I say this? Let me put it in a very easier way, in the Laukika example. As children growing up, we all have written exams. Okay, every time we have felt a little tensed about exams, especially in the exam hall, while going to exam, while about to get the question paper, all the situations. One thing that all Indian parents would have taught their children is you just pray to God once before you start writing exam. ಓಕೆ ದೇವ್ರಿಗೊಂದು ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಮನಸ್ಸಲ್ಲೇನೆ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಬರೆಯಕ್ಕೆ ಶುರು ಮಾಡು. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ವೆರಿ ಕಾಮನ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ ವುಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟಾಟ್ ದೇರ್ ಚಿಲ್ಡ್ರನ್. I have no doubt about it. And language might be different, that's all. Tamil, Telugu, Hindi, Kannada, Malayalam, they would have told this in exact manner. Okay, why? What happens? And we all stand today as a testimony to that fact that we have got tensed at an exam hall and we have remembered Bhagavan in whatever form, Krishna, Rama, Govinda, it doesn't matter. We have actually remembered Bhagavan in the exam hall and we have felt quite relaxed after that. Show me a person who has not felt this. Our experiences may vary. I might have experienced it at 12 years of age. You might have experienced it at 30 years of age. Doesn't matter. Experience is same for all of us. We all have experienced this. Just imagine if remembering Paramatma at such a crucial stage can calm us down and bring a sense of tranquility, that shanti, and all those things. Imagine what it will do if we keep on remembering Paramatma at all times. One simple example. Okay. Because he is Shiva. Namah Shivaya. And then Shivataraya cha Namaha. Atishayena Shivaha. He is extremely auspicious. Needless to say, he should have ended, the mantra should have ended by saying Namah Shivaya. No, he is Shivatara as well. He is also Shivatama. Okay. It's not that, oh, there is something else apart from Paramatma, which is Shivatama. Don't think like that. Uh, Shivatara, Shivatama, there is no Bheda in the superlative sense. Veda can use, or the mantras can use the Tara Pratyaya as well. There is no hard and fast rule in Vedika Vyakaranam, where only comparative degree wise you have to use Tara Pratyaya. For superlative degree, you have to use Tama Pratyaya. Such kind of rule exists in Laukika Sanskritam, not in Vedika Sanskritam. Therefore, Shivataraya means extremely auspicious. Okay. See, Shivav Panthaha, Shivobhrupayaha. This is elsewhere where they have said Shivav Panthaha. Okay. There was a way of greeting people when they used to travel in Samskrita, where they used to say Shivaste Panthanaha. It was a very common phrase that they used to say. And there was a slightly other version as well, where they would use a more popular word like Shubhaste Panthanaha. That's more popular because the word Shubha is understood. Panthanaha means may your roads be auspicious. Shivaste Panthanaha also means the same thing, because Shiva Panthaha, Shiva is the Marga, Shivo Bhupaya, he is the Upaya as well. Okay, and then uh, Atharva Shikha, Rudra Atharva Shikha says that Shiva Eko Dhyeyaha Shivankaraha Sarvamanyat Parityajya. By leaving everything, only one thing needs to be contemplated upon by us. What is that? Shiva Eko Dhyeyaha. Only Shiva Vastu has to be contemplated by us. Very interestingly, even in Vishnu Sahasranama, the word Shiva has been used. The word Shiva has been used for Paramatma. It is not just for Shiva, Vishnu kind of understanding that we have. Shiva means Paramatma, because only Paramatma Vastu is auspicious. Rest everything is inauspicious. Paramatma Vastu is the most auspicious thing. So whenever you feel a little depleted, defeated, whenever you feel sad, depressed, only thing to do is, or disappointed, whenever we feel all these kind of negative thoughts, just remember Parameshwara. All of a sudden, there will be a clear mindset that will come up for us. For the lack of better word in English, I will use the Kannada word lava lavike. That is the proper word that we have in Kannada. There will be a sense of fresh air about ourselves. We will feel all of a sudden very fresh, the kind of freshness that we feel when we use face wash and wash our face. This is without using any face wash. Just remember Shiva and you will feel that freshness. Okay. Now this example got everybody. Strange. People are sometimes very hard to read. Okay. What example works on you, God knows. I gave such a beautiful example. Flat faces. I said, face wash, washing face with face wash. Everybody started smiling. Interesting. Okay. There is another. Why is Paramatma called as Shiva? This is a very, very important thing, very important question to be answered. At least for our sake, we need to know why Paramatma is called as Shiva. See, Samedha Yati Yan Nityam Sarvarthan Sarvakarmasu Shivamichan Manushyanam Tasmad Deva Shiva Smrtaha. Samedhayati yan nityam sarvarthan sarvakarmasu. Sarvakarmasu. In all activities that are done in the entire world, every action will have a certain consequence. It will have to fetch a certain outcome. So, who brings the appropriate outcome? Okay, we say that for every action there is an equal Every action will have its consequences, will have an outcome. That part is correct. But who determines the appropriateness of that? It is Paramatma Shakti that ensures the appropriateness of outcome to action. So never has it ever been recorded, or never has it ever happened where for an inappropriate activity an appropriate reward has been given. Okay, there is no disproportionate thing that exists between activity and reward. Activity and outcome is always appropriate. What determines that? Who regulates that? The one who regulates that is Paramatma. That therefore it is said Samedhayati. Edhayati means to bring up. Samedhayati means to bring up properly, to bring up appropriately, to bring up correctly, accurately, is called as Samedhayati. Samedhayati yat nityam, and it is a continuous thing, eternal thing, that is set in motion. So samedhayati yan nityam sarvarthan sarvakarmasu shivamichan manushyanam. So we have this famous saying in Kannada, I'm very sure in other languages also there will be similar lines. ಆಗಿದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಒಳ್ಳೇದಿಕ್ಕೆ, ದೇವರು ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ನಮ್ಮ ಒಳ್ಳೇದಿಕ್ಕೆ. How many times have we not heard this line? भगवान जो भी करता है हमारे भले के लिए करता है. जो जो कुछ हमारे जीवन में घटती है वो सब हमारे अच्छे के लिए ही होता है. This is not, these words should not be taken lightly. These are not some lines that we generally use to appease ourselves or to console ourselves. These are not consoling words at all. This is truth. It happens for a reason, because there is a calculation for whatever previous action we have done in various births. There is an appropriate outcome that has to be experienced by us, and now we are experiencing that appropriate outcome. And we do not know that bahuni me vyatitani janmani tavacha Arjuna. Krishna said this, no, bahuni me vyatitani. Many janmas have gone for both you and me. Tanyaham veda sarvani. But I am aware of all those things. You, ayopavam, you don't know any of them. And we think because we are zoomed in, that's one of my famous examples. We are so much zoomed in that we can see only 2 points. We can see Janam, we can see Maranam. Beyond this, we are not able to see anything. What is the reason that we are not able to see beyond Jananam and Maranam? Because we are so zoomed in. All we need to do is zoom out. Once you zoom out, you will see the picture Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam. Acharya Shankar Bhagavad was able to see because he was zoomed out. How come we are not able to see? We sing that every day, we play that, MS Subbalakshmi, Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam. But it is bheje mein to nahi ja raha hai. We are not able to record it properly. We are not able to hold it. And it is not creating that urgency, that immediacy in us. That is the problem. See, if someone says that you are going to die tomorrow, will it not bring that urgency in us? And every time I read Shankara Bhagavad Pada, this is what I feel. It's like the likes of Shankara Bhagavad Pada, Vyasa, all of them, they screamed at the top of their lung and saying that, can you not see this? Why are you being so ignorant? But still, we are what we are. Anyway, coming back to the fact that Shivamichan Manushyanam, Paramatma Vastu never seeks anything bad or any inauspicious things for any creature. It is not in the nature of Paramatma. Krishna himself says this. Na dveshyaha na cha priyaha. I'm sorry, I'm not able to recall that line exactly, but he clearly mentions that there is nobody who is hated by me. There is nobody who is liked by me. He is equal to everybody. Okay. And a Jivan Mukta, a guru, also acts exactly like this. He also imbibes the same attitude. There's a beautiful shloka about Guru in Bhavabhuti's Uttara Ramacharitam. Vitarati Guruf Prajne Vidyam Yathaiva Tatha Jade. Okay. The Guru does not make any difference in imparting the knowledge to the brilliant one and to the dumb one. He gives the same vidya to both of them. Greatest example, the greatest documented example, Shankara Bhagavad Pada. For the likes of us, Stotram. For Uttamadhikaris, Gita Bhashyam is there, Upanishad Bhashyam is there, Prasthanatraya Bhashyam is there. Same person. Vitarate Guru Pragne Vidyam Yathaiva Tatha Jade. Because they are an embodiment, they are a personification of Paramatma Vastu. And that's how Paramatma Vastu functions. That Paramatma Vastu, which functions in a way where it seeks only the betterment, only the auspiciousness of a jiva, of a creature, by bringing appropriate outcomes for each and every action. Tasmat Deva Shiva Smritaha. Hence, he is called as Shiva. Kalidasa elsewhere. Okay. Tatragnimadhaya samit samiddham. In Kumara Sambhavam. Okay. He himself is Agniswarupa. We have seen that, isn't it? He himself is Agniswarupa, but Kalidasa says, Tatra Agni Madhaya. He is describing Parameshwara's tapasya. He says, Paramatma, Parameshwara, he had Agni in front of him. Tatra Agni Madhaya and Samit Samidham. He has also used Samit there. And he has ignited that fire by offering Samit. Tatra Agni Madhaya Samit Samidham. Swameva Murtyantaram Ashtamurti. He himself is Ashtamurti, but he himself is worshipping his one of his forms. What a beautiful picture that is. We cannot imagine this because it is not subjected to imagine. This is subjected to experience. That is the level of Kalidasa. The rest of the poets can, when the rest of the poets speak, we can all imagine. When Kalidasa speaks, you cannot imagine. You have to experience. That, my dear friends, is the difference that exists between Kalidasa and the rest of the poets. Remarkable difference. Swameva Murtyantaram Ashtamurti. Swayam Vidhata Tapasaf Phalanam. He is the one who actually regulates the phala for each and every tapasya. See, Shiva. Samedhayati Yannityam Sarvarthan Sarvakarmasu. That concept, how beautifully Kalidasa has captured in one line when he says, Swayam Vidhata Tapasaf Phalanam. Tapasaf Phalanam Vidhata. Vidhata means regulator. He who regulates the appropriateness and everything. Swayam Vidhata Tapasaf Phalanam. But then why did he do tapasya? Kenapi Kamena Tapaschachara. It's a very interesting line. We used to have Shastrartha on this. There is a lost parampara of Sahitya Shastrartha. And in Sahitya Shastrartha, this is the line which is quite extraordinary. Kenapi kamena tapaschachara. The word ka there does not mean a questioning word. Like kim shabda, as we know in Sanskrit. Kaha kauke, kam kaukan, kena kabhyam kaihi. No, not in that sense that the word kena has been used. It has not also been used in the sense of anonymity. Kenapi kamena, ಯಾವುದೋ ಇಚ್ಛೆಯಿಂದ ಮಾಡ್ದ, not in that meaning either. Ka iti brahmano nama. Ka means Brahma. Okay. So, kenapi kamena tapaschachara is it, with the Paramatma. So kamayata. Remember that Upanishad Vakyam. So kamayata bahusyam praja ye yeti. Then what did he do? Satapo tapyata. You see the connection. So kamayata to satapotapyata. That is the connection that Kalidasa brings in. Kenapi kamena tapaschachar. This is the conclusion. I don't know why I end up saying all these things. Moving on. Namastirthyaya, Namashivaya cha, Shivataraya cha namaha. Then Tirthyaya cha, Kulyaya cha namaha. Tirtha is the Tirtha Kshetras. Okay, like Prayaga, Varanasi, Godavari Tiram, Narmada Tiram, all these kind of Kshetras, Tirthas. He who resides in those Tirthas, there is always going to be the presence of Parameshwara in all those Tirthas. Therefore, it is to be observed or it is to be witnessed with utmost reverence. Visiting a Tirtha Kshetra itself is so reverential, it is so life changing because Parameshwara exists there. He exists in the form of Tirtha itself. He need not exist there in the form of a certain form or in a certain deity form. No, he is the Tirtha form. The entire Tirtham is Parameshwara. So, I was so close to Dashashwamedh Ghat. So what? Do you think, wherever Ganges flows, Parameshwara is not there? Even after reading Rudradhyaya, if you feel that you can find Parameshwara, you can find auspiciousness only in Kashi, you are so cute, I tell you. He is everywhere. You just have to understand that he is the Tirtham. Okay. That is the reason when a Jivan Mukta walks to the Tirtha Kshetram, when Kalidasa made that statement, oh, by the way, most of the people don't know that what sort of a statement Kalidasa has made about Jivan Muktas. He said, Tirthi kuruvanti tirthani. That line is by Kalidasa. No other poet can even come closer to saying all these kind of things. When a Jivan Mukta walks into the Tirtham, he initiates or he invokes that Tirthatvam into the Tirtha. He brings that Tirthatvam into Tirtha, is what Kalidasa says. Why? Because he's not different from Paramatma. Because Paramatma is Tirthya. Tirthe Bhavaha. He who remains in the form of Tirtha is called as Tirthya. Namastirthya cha. And then Kulyaya cha namaha. Kula is a very popular word used in almost all Indian languages. The most commonly used word is anukula and pratikula. The second word has become quite unpopular nowadays, but the first word still remains in usage, in regular usage. Anukula. What do you mean by anukula? Anukula means that which gets us closer to the shores of the river. Okay, that is Kula means the shore of the river. So he does not exist only in the form of Tirtha. He also exists in the form of Kula. Kula in the sense the ghats. Okay. So how great it is to witness Parameshwara in the form of Tirtha as well as in the form of Kula. गंगा स्नान करते समय गंगा में डुबकी लगाते समय ओ गंगा इज द मोस्ट प्योरेस्ट रिवर घाट में आके थूक देते हैं घाट में आके कचड़ा फेंक देते हैं the mindset of people, I tell you, they think that they can do all sorts of ridiculous activities on ghat because they don't consider it as Parameshwara. But namastirthyaya cha kulyaya cha namaha, he is kulya. Okay. Fantastic. Then namah paryaya cha avaryaya cha namaha. Parya. Oh, this is beautiful. This is one of my personal favorites one as well. Namah Parya. He's called as Parya. Para means samsara samudrasya paratire mumukshubhirdhyeyatvena avatisthate iti paryaha. He who remains as the only thing to be contemplated upon by all those mumukshus at the other side of samsara sagaram. Okay. I think very recently I don't remember where I said this. It is so interesting and so weirdly apt that the PhD degree that they confer upon us, especially in the Samskrita field, they give a Samskrita title as well. It's not just PhD. It's not just doctorate. They also give us a different title called as Vidya Varidhi. Okay. I never felt, I was never happy with that title. Later, I understood why I was not happy with that title because Vidya Varidhi means what is the use of having Vidya that keeps you in Samsara Sagaram? They have given such an apt name, you see. The true name should be Vidya Parangataha. That word does not ring a kind of applause that people usually expect. People expect an applause when you say he's Vidya Varidhi. It sounds like, oh, such a great title. It is such a ridiculous title. The true title is he's Parangataha. How many people use the word Parangata nowadays? Nobody. It has become quite rare. The word Parangata has become quite rare because the reason of the meaning of the word Parangata is he who has crossed the samsara sagaram with this vidya. That's why he is vidyaya samsara param gataha iti vidya parangataha. When we say advaita vidya parangataha, it means advaita vidyaya with the help of advaita vidya he has crossed samsara sagara. Sahitya vidya parangataha, same meaning. That's all. The instrument is different. That's all. But Parangata. And if I have to cross over the ocean, what is it that I can find if I cross over the samsara sagara? There must be something for me to cross over for. And that thing that is existing beyond samsara sagara is Paramatma, is Parameshwara. That's why he's called as Paryaha. Pare Bhavaha Paryaha. Samsara sagara Pare Bhavaha Paryaha. Elsewhere, Shankara Bhagatpadaha, what is that? Uh, Kripaya Pare Pahi Murare. Like usage of words. All right, then Avarya Yachana Maha. Avara, para means that the other side of samsara. Avara means this side of samsara where we are stuck. So he is the one who can actually kamya phala pradatvena avatisthate. If you are seeking any sort of phala on this side of samsara, it is only Parameshwara who can grant you that. Therefore, he is avarya yachanamaha. If you are seeking something beyond samsara sagara, only he can address that as well. तमेवैष यमेवैष वृणुते तेन लभ्यः कठोपनिषत् यमेव एष वृणुते तेन लभ्यः सेम idea. Okay, where we say namah paryaya cha avaryaya cha namaha, and then we have namah prataranaya uttaranaya cha namaha. Pratarana and uttarana. Pratarana is प्रकृष्टेन मन्त्रजपादिरूपेण पापतरणहेतुः प्रतरणः. He is the one who comes to us in the form of mantra, japa, and all other things with which we can get rid of papa and cross the samsara sagara. Okay, he who appears in the form of mantra is called as pratarana because it is a wonderful tool to cross over the samsara sagara. He himself is the tool. You remember in the previous thing we said in the Atharvashikha Upanishad, Shivodhyeyaha, and then he is Shiva Panthaha, Shivaha Abhyupayaha. He is the path, he is the Upaya as well. The instrument is also him, the path is also him, the Parya is also him, the target is also him. So everything is only Parameshwara is the idea. And what is Uttaranayacha? Tattvajnana Rupena Kritsna Samsarottarana Hetuhu Uttaranaha. That Tattvajnanam which results in us crossing this entire samsara sagara, that Tattvajnanam is called as Uttarana. And who is that Tattvajnanam or what is that Tattvajnanam? That Tattvajnanam is Parameshwara. Tattvajnanam is also Parameshwara. Tattvajnanam is basically a process, no? How do we attain Tattvajnanam, etc., etc.? We discuss a lot. But ultimately, what is that Tattvajnanam? That Tattvajnanam is Parameshwara. Because Namah Prataranaya cha Uttaranaya cha Namaha. And then he also, Bhatta Bhaskara mentions by the word Prataranam, we means Prataranaya, Samsara Pratarane Plavarupam. He acts as a lifeboat in crossing this Samsara Sagara. A beautiful, beautiful analogy. Okay. And then Asmin Samsare Prakarshena Tarana Hetave. He who has the capability, it's a small plava. Plava means a small boat. It's not a ship. It's a small boat. But if it is Paramatma who appears in the small boat, it is possible for us to cross the ocean. Okay. All right. Then Nama Ataryaya cha Aladhyaya cha Namaha. Atarya and Aladya. Atarya means Sambhavatyapi samsarottarana hetau tattvajnane tadupekshya. So even when tattvajnana can result in this samsara sagara taranam, in the crossing of this samsara sagara, if someone is interested in kamya karmanusthane samsare, if someone is interested in doing all the kamya karmas, jyotishto mena swarga kamo juhoti, etc., etc. Okay, I want to do this yaga, that yaga, kamya karma anushtanam. Those who are interested in doing this, all this kamya karma anushtanam for them, punaragamanam, they will have to come back. And who brings them back? What is that regulation that brings them back to this world after fulfilling their desires that they wanted to fulfill with the performance of these karma kandam, these kamya karmas? he is called as, no, sorry, Atarya, because he is the one who brings us back. Asamantat Tarayati. He brings us back to the main fold from Kamya Karmas, from the results of Kamya Karma. Therefore, Samsara Tiram Prapyapi Karma Sharisheda Punaravartanam Ataraha. Atara means punaravartanam, to come back again. That is also regulated by Paramatma. That which regulates that is also Paramatma Vastu. Let me put it in that way. Okay. Therefore, Nama Ataryaya cha and Aladhyaya cha. This is probably one of the best meaning that you will find. Okay. Beyond, after knowing the meaning of this word, the Advaita Tattva should be beyond any doubt. If someone still has a doubt about, Jiva and Paramatma are two different entities, God bless you. Let me tell you what is the meaning of Aladya. Okay. Alam means Sampurnam. Okay. Alam Sampurnam Yatha Bhavati. Okay. How we get that sense of Sampurnam? Um, Actually, the word alam is used in regular Samskrita in the sense that sufficient, or in Kannada, if I have to say, saku. Okay. When we say, ishte saku, this much is sufficient. In that sense, the word alam is used in Samskrita. There is a reason why it is called as Alankara Shastra. That which gives you that sense that, this is sufficient. This is it. There is nothing else that is required. Same kind of feeling. Yajñātva neha bhūyonyat jñātavyam avashishyate. Bhagavad Gita. Yajñātva. After knowing which, na iha bhuyo anyat jñātavyam avashishyate. There remains nothing else that needs to be known by us. By knowing which, everything becomes known. Yajñātva sarvam jñātam bhavati. Upanishads. That is alam. Now, there was a emeritus professor back in BHU during my days of PhD. His Pratasmaraniya, his name was Professor Reva Prasad Vivedi. Okay, he used to tell this. Alamiti Brahmano Nama. Alankara is nothing but Parabrahma Jnanam. It is a wonderful thing. There is no difference between, in the Vedas, there is no difference between Alankara and Ahankara. Okay, Aham Tattva. When we say Aham, not the kind of Ahankara that we understand as ego or something like that. No. Aham iti Brahma. That's why Aham Brahmasmi. Isn't it? See, so many things. Okay, coming back. Alam Sampurnam Yatha Bhavati Tatha Karma Phalam Atti iti Aladaha. Alada means Jivaha. What a beautiful name for Jiva. Jiva is called as Alada. Why is Jiva called as Alada? Jiva is called as Alada because Karma Phalam Atti iti Aladaha. It consumes all the karma phala. How does it consume the karma phala? It consumes that jiva which consumes karma phala in such a way where it attains that fulfillment, where it attains that purnata. Are you getting the point? The jiva which gets rid of the entire sanchita karma and not allows agami karma and goes through the prarabdha karma completely, what would have it done? It would have attained the completeness. It would have completed the entire karma, isn't it? Whatever the karma phala was, that is completed. What are we doing? We are not yet alada. We are not yet even jiva avastha. We are not alada because we still have some karma left over in our plate. We don't clean it off. We still keep plenty on our plate for which we have to come back again. Therefore, that jiva which completes its karma trace, okay, it removes the footprints of karma. The jiva that removes the footprints of its previous karma is called as alada. Okay. Tasya prerakattvena tat sambandhitvat aladhyaha. That prerakattvena, that which initiates or that which brings jiva to that level. When will somebody get rid of all the karma? When will they have the clean slate of karma, you tell me? Kshiyante chasya karmani. Then tasmin drishte paravare. भिद्यते हृदयग्रन्थिः छिद्यन्ते सर्वसंशयाः क्षीयन्ते चास्य कर्माणि. All the karma will vanish when tasmin drishte paravare. When we have that atma sakshatkara, all these things will vanish. So that atma itself is jiva, isn't it? That's therefore preraka rupena it vartate. That's all. Preraka rupena drishyate. That's all. Nobody is initiating, nobody is motivating or inspiring anybody. They are not two different entities. The same entity, when it goes through the jiva bhava and when it completely eradicates its karma record, it is addressed as aladya, a change of name. That's all. It is not a different entity altogether. That's why I said beyond this point, if we still have this notion that jiva and paramatma are two different entities, God bless us all. Because this is an Upanishad. Rudradhyaya is an Upanishad which clearly indicates that this is Nama Ataryaya cha Atarya and then Aladhyaya cha Namaha. Okay, this is one meaning. Another meaning for the word Alada is Alada means Srishti. Alada Sargaha. Bhuyo Bhuyaha Samsara Sagare Avartarupena Paribhramanam Aladaha. So he who creates the samsara sagar again and again and again is called as aladya. That is also another meaning of the word aladya. Okay, two different meanings. Then we move on to the last two yajus of this nuvaka. Namashashpyaya cha phenyaya cha namaha. You remember saspinjara in the third anuvaka? Sorry, second anuvaka. Namasaspinjaraya cha. The same meaning here with the word shashpyaya cha namaha. Shashpa means balatranam. Tender grass is called as shashpa. Okay. Where else but Kalidasa can you find the same word being used? Sorry, I'm not going to go berserk about Kalidasa today, but he has used the word shashpa there. Okay. When he describes Dushyanta was, if you remember Abhignana Shakuntalam, Dushyanta was chasing a deer. The deer had few shashpa in its mouth. Shashpa is fresh grass. That fresh grass was in its mouth, and because it was running by the fear of Dushyanta chasing, it was falling down from its mouth. And Kalidas has described it, and there he has used the word shashpa. Moving on. Namash Shashpyaya cha. Balatranam, he who appears in the form of tender grass. Okay. Kusha Ankuradi Shashpya. And then Phenya cha namaha. Phena means bubbles. In the water where we observe bubbles, that bubbles is called as phena. He who appears in the form of bubbles is called as phenya. Okay. Okay. Namashashpyaya cha phenyaya cha. And then namassikatyaya cha pravahyaya cha namaha. Sikata, sikatam arhati iti sikatyah. Sikata means sand. Okay. He who appears in the form of sand is called as sikatya. He who appears in the form of pravaha is called as, in the flow, is called as pravahya. So, namasikatya cha pravahya cha namaha. Pravahya cha. That concludes Ashtamonuvakaha. Then we move on to the Navamonuvakaha very quickly. Nama irinya cha prapathya cha namaha. Irina means a barren land is called as Irina. Irinam Usharam. Okay, Ushara means a barren land. He who appears in the form of a barren land. Nama Irinya Yacha. And then Prapathya Yacha Namaha. Prapathya means a path that is walked by many is called as Prapatha. He appears in the form of that Prapatha. Mahajano Yena Gatas Sapantha. Okay. Uh, there are many paths that have been walked, and all the paths that have been walked by all Mahatmas earlier, they are all Paramatma. Every single Yoga Marga is Paramatma. Okay, every single path is Paramatma. There is no difference about it. In Yoga Taravali, Shankara Bhagavad Pada mentions that Sapada Laksham. 1,25,000 yoga margas were told by Parameshwara. He alone can tell all the yoga margas, no? Do you think any one of us can do that kind of research? How many types of yoga margas exist? We are so busy in forming new names: yin yoga, yang yoga, that yoga, this yoga. Uh, we are so busy in dragging the good name of yoga into mud. We will not be interested in doing such kind of research. Only Paramatma can put up such kind of a research data. 1,25,000 yoga margas. He gave the Upadesha of all these things to Parvati. Who else but Parvati? Yeah. Wonderful. So Prapatya always does not mean only the highway where everybody walks. That is also the meaning, but also the meaning, this meaning is also there. The Yoga Marga, or the various Atma Margas that many creatures have, many jivas have attained moksha. That Marga is also Paramatma. Therefore, Prapatyaya cha. Nama Irinyaya cha, Prapatyaya cha. And then Namah Kigum Shilaya cha. That is how we pronounce it, isn't it? Kigum Shilaya cha and Kshayanaya cha. Just a moment. Sorry, I'm in a different place. That's why I do not have a glass handy. You must be wondering, why are you drinking from 2 liter bottle and all those things? Okay, please excuse me. I'm in Chennai. I'm in a different place, so you have to excuse me for all those things. That's why I was so happy last week, because home advantage. I rarely get home advantage. I don't know when I will get back that home advantage, but whatever it is, you just have to keep the show running. That's all. Okay, Kigum Shila. Even though the pronunciation is Kigum Shila, the actual word is Kim Shila. Kim Shila is the actual word. While pronouncing it becomes Kigum Shila. Okay, just because the original word Kim Shila, while chanting, while reciting, you don't have to change it to Namah Kim Shilaya cha. No, while chanting, it has to be said as Namah Kigum Shilaya cha. That is the right way. Now, what is Kim Shila? Kutsitaha Shilaha Yatra Pradeshe Kim Shila. Kim Shila means a place filled with rocks, hard rocks. That is called as Kim Shila. Okay. Ah, I recently went to Three Sisters and Great Ocean Drive and all those 12 Apostles and all, such kind of a place. Okay, where so much rock formations has happened. Oh, that is Namah Kim Shilaya cha. Okay, Namah Kim Shilaya cha. And then Kshayanaya cha Namaha. Kshayana means a place which is suitable for dwelling, a place suitable for living, a livable place, habitual place is called as Kshayana. So he is in the form of that place as well. Namaha Kshayanaya cha Namaha. Okay, here is a very interesting take by Bhattabhaskara. He brings in by saying that he samsara visheshaha sarva eva ete shashpadaya. He starts from the previous anuvakas namah shashpyaya cha penyaya cha namaha. From there he mentions shashpa means shashpa kalpaha. The balatrana does not remain balatrana. The tender grass does not remain for a long time. It fades away, it goes away. Similarly, those whose prana is also limited, short-lived people, short-lived creatures. He appears in the form of short-lived creatures is the meaning. Okay. Shashpyayacha means he who appears in the form of short-lived creatures. There are many creatures who live for 1 day, 1 hour. There are so many creatures in the world. It's a fascinating word. Namashashpyayacha. And then penaha, penakalpaha, swalpayushaha. Again, they keep on, their duration of lifespan is very less, just like the duration of a wave. The wave goes like this and comes down. So he's referring to all those alpayusha jivaha with shashpyayacha, phenyayacha. And then here, sikatyayacha, pravahyayacha, sikata kalpaha, those who are hardened like stone, hardened like rocks, atikshudraha, that jiva, that is also Parameshwara. And then pravaha, prakrishtavaha. Prakrishtavaha means Mahavibhuti, the glorious things that exist in this creation. They are called as pravahya. And with the word pravahya, we can understand those things is what he means. And then Nama Irinyayacha, Irina Kalpaha, Shunya Shaktayaha, because it's a barren land. Similarly, those who have no power, no strength, no courage whatsoever, They are called, those jivas are called as irinya. And then prapathaha, prakrushta margavartinaha, those who are on the good, on the better yoga marga, they are called as prapatya. Paramatma appears, Parameshwara appears in that form as well. And similarly, Kim Shilaha Kutsita Shilaha, because Shila in Veda does not make much difference. In Laukika Samskrita, it does. Shila has got one meaning, stone. Shila means behavior. There are two different meanings in Samskrita, in Laukika Samskrita, not in Veda. Shila can also means Shila. So those who have bad behavior, that is also Paramatma. And then Kshayanaha, Kshayashilaha, all those creatures that will diminish one day. That is the meaning from the word Kshayana. This is another interpretation of the meaning of the words given by Bhattabhaskara. Now we move on. Namah Kapardinecha Pulastayecha. Kapardi, by now you should be able to understand what is Kapardi. Kapardosya Jata Jutaha. His Jata is called as Kaparda. Okay. He who has Jata named as Kaparda is called as Kapardi. Namah Kapardine. And then Pulastihi. Beautiful meaning for the word Pulasti. Bhatta Bhaskara's meaning for the word Pulasti is okay. He says that Pulasti means hair, regular hair, normal hair. He who appears in front of bhaktas, he who appears in the form with jata, and that is Namah Kapardine, he who appears in the form of normal hair is Pulasti. This is the meaning given by Bhatta Bhaskara. Whereas Sayanacharya says the word Pulasti means Bhaktanam Puratastisthati iti Pulastihi. Ralayor abheda. There is no difference between Ra and La. So Pulastihi is Purastihi. Purastihi is he who appears right in front of me. He who appears right in front of bhaktas is called as Purasti or Pulasti. Okay. Namah Kapardinecha Pulastayecha. And then Namo Goshtyayecha Grihtyayecha Namaha. These are very simple things that we can understand. Goshtha means the place where we find cattle is called as Goshtha. So he who appears in the form of Goshtha is Goshtya, Parameshwara. And Grihe Bhavo Grihya. He who appears in Griha is called as Grihya. That is also Parameshwara. So Namo Goshtyayecha Grihyayecha. And then Namastalpyayecha Gehyayecha Namaha. Okay, Talpa. Talpa means bed. He who appears in the form of bed. You remember Namashayan, Namasvapadbhyo, Jagratbhescha vo namo, Namastishtadbhyo, Dhavadbhescha vo namaha. Now, there we have already said Namashayanebhya, the ones who are sleeping. Sleeping on what? Suramandiratharumula nivasaha, Shayya bhutalam. Not them. Not Shayya bhutalam wala log. This is those who sleep on Karlon mattress. That is also Parameshwara. Sometimes, people make complaint. They fake. This is where it really enrages me. Sometimes people act fake by saying that, oh, no, we are very simple. And I don't want to sleep on bed. And they are visiting UK in winter. Mar jaoge. Okay. You will die if you sleep on floor. Imagine a house where there is no floor heating. I understood that that's a new concept. In India, you don't require floor heating. We have 360-degree heating. We don't require all such kind of fancy things. We are blessed. But in some countries, they have floor heating. So imagine a place where there is no floor heating and it is not made out of wood. It's a stone kind of thing. If you want to sleep on that, because Suramandira Tarumula Nivasaha Shayya Bhutalam, you can't survive. And other problem is people look down upon few people by saying that, oh, you sleep on mattress. No, it is very good for my back, and it is also told in Shastra Day. You don't have to bring Shastra here. The problem is you say for health benefits, I understand. I respect you. You say that it is good for back pain, therefore I will sleep on I will sleep on, I'll sleep down. I will not sleep on the bed. If you say only that much, I will respect you. Why do you have to unnecessarily bring Shastra into it and make look that bed is a wrong thing? To sleep on bed is a wrong thing. We all have had this experience. There will be some people amongst our relatives who will look down upon you saying, ooh, But Namastalpyayaja, that is Parameshvara. You don't have any idea. You have limited vision. That's why you see only Gandagi everywhere. You have Paramatma Drishti, you see only Parameshvara everywhere. Difference, Namastalpyayaja and Gehyayaja Namaha. Geha is the general word used for home, but however, here Geha means balcony. Balcony is called as Geha, Prasada, or hall or balcony is called as Geha. Gehyaya cha namaha. And then Namah Katyaya cha Gahvaresthaya cha namaha. Katya. Katya means Kutsitam Atati iti Katam. Kata means Kutsitam Atati. Okay. Kantakita Latadi. The thorned creepers are called as kata. Okay. And if there is a place filled with such thorned creepers, and if it is impossible to penetrate, if it is impossible to get into that kind of forest region, such kind of a forest is called as kataha. That forest which is impenetrable due to existence of thorned bushes is called as kata. Parameshvara appears in that form. Therefore, tatra bhavaha katyaha. Namah katyaya cha. Where all Parameshvara has been seen by the rishis, you see. Uh, we think that I see Shiva only in Kashi Vishwanath temple. Nowhere else I have felt Shiva. Very good. Very good. You are the most brightest student. I see Shiva only here, nowhere else. That is the kind of attitude, that is the kind of limited vision that has cost us. Yo mam pashyati sarvatra, sarvancha mayi pashyati, tasyaham na pranashyami, sachame na pranashyati. Bhagavan Sri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. I see no difference that exists between Bhagavad Gita and Rudradhyaya. Where is the difference? The same idea here. The difference exists here in our mind. Okay, anyway, moving on. Gahwareshtha. Gahwara means guha, and not me. Gahwara means, cave. Deep caves are called as Gahwara. Okay, I would have loved if they had used, if the Rudradhyaya had a word named guha. So nice. But still, I'm so very happy that my parents named me Guha Vishwanatha, because I have the current Devasenani and the original Devasenani, both of them in my name. Okay. I don't know why I came to Samskrita field. I should have been in army, holding a gun and shooting people for fun. Adharmikas, I mean, not everybody. As I've never been to America. I don't have that kind of shooting problem that exists in America. Okay, all right. Enough with the fun. Moving on. Gahvareshtha. Gahvareshtha means he who stays, he who remains in all those deep caves is called as Gahvare Tishtati iti Gahvareshtha. Gahvareshtha cha. And then Namo Hradayaya cha Niveshpyaya cha Namaha. Hrada means Agadha Jaleshu. Agadha Jala means, deep waters. Okay, that is called as Hrada. He who remains in those deep waters is Hradaya. And then Niveshpa means Nihara Jalam. Niveshpa is plain water, clean water. That is Niveshpa. Okay. He who remains in those plain waters is called as Niveshpya. So Namo Hradayaya cha Niveshpyaya cha. And then Namah, another word, Namah Pagum Savyaya cha is how we chant. The word is Namah Pam Svya. The actual word is Pam Savya or Pam Svya. Okay. Pamsu is the word. Pamsu means atoms, no, small elements are called as Pamsu. Okay. Pamsushu Paramanushu Avasthitaha. God particle. Isn't it? That was the all rage some 5 or 6 years ago. God particle in electron, neutrons, and Namah Pagum Savyaya cha. But if you are going to use this line and give this as a reference by saying that our rishis knew about God particle and all those things, I will find you and I will shoot you. Because this is not mentioned in that sense. It is a mockery of the entire system. You are dragging the good name of Vedas to that level. Veda is not meant for proving God particle and all those things. Veda is here to tell us that whatever you find, Ano Raniyan, Mahato Mahiyan is all Parameshwara, is what it is trying to say. And here we are trying to prove, trying to match Kandhe se Kandha milane ke liye. We are trying to say that the God particle has already been discussed in Veda. Namah Pagum Sabhyayacha. I'm telling you again, if anybody says that, I will find them and I will shoot them. It is ridiculous. Like saying, Ganapati is a prime example for plastic surgery. It is mindless. It is utter stupidity to make such kind of statements. Ah, that Ganapati is Tattvamasi, basically. That's why the whole Ganapati Atharva Shirsham is condensed in the first line, in the first vakyam itself. Namaste Ganapataye. You did not understand what is Namaste Ganapataye. Tvameva Pratyaksham Tattvamasi. Finished. What is Ganapati is Tattvamasi. Gana refers to Tat and Tvam. Ga refers to Tat. Na refers to Tvam. I don't want to get into it. We have already done that. There is another demand that we have to do it again. Let us see when it is going to happen. But Ganapati means Tattvamasi is the pure form of Advaita. Anyway, Namah Pagam Sabhyayacha, he who remains in the atoms as well, the most minute particles. And then Rajasyayacha Namaha. Rajas means dust. Okay, he who appears in the form of dust, he is called as Rajasya. Namah Pagam Savyayacha Rajasyayacha Namah. And then uh, right, then Namah Shushkyayacha Harityayacha Namah. Shushka. Shushka is in the dried wooden logs. That is called as Shushka Kashtha. He who appears in dried wooden logs is called as Shushkyayacha and Harityayacha. Haritya means he who appears in the wet wooden logs. Okay, both. ಒಣಗಿರೋದು ಒದ್ದೆ ಇರೋದು ಎರಡು ಪರಮೇಶ್ವರ. Some people will complain, no, you should bring only ಹಸಿ ಸೌದೆ ತರಬಾರದು ಹೋಮಕ್ಕೆ. ಒಣಗಿರೋ ಸೌದೆನೂ ಪರಮೇಶ್ವರನೇ, ಹಸಿ ಸೌದೆನೂ ಪರಮೇಶ್ವರನೇ. There is no difference. Namah Shushkyaya cha Harityaya cha Namaha. Oh, it will increase smoke. Oh, you observe Parameshwara there. You are there to witness Parameshwara. You are not there to complain. You're not there to whine about smoke. Oh, smoke is too much. It is hurting my eyes. Karma. Namo lopyaya cho lapyaya cha. Namaha lopyaya ulapyaya cha. Okay, next word is lopya. Lopya is Kathina Pradesha, where the grass barely grows. That region where the grass barely grows is called as Lopa. Kathina Pradesha. He who remains in such kind of places where grass seldom grows. That is called as Namaha Lopyaya. Ulapa. Ulapa is Balvajastranadayaha. Ulapa is special variety of grass where abundantly these grass grows. That region is called as Ulapa. So he who exists in the form of that Pradesha is called as Ulapya. He is Lopya, he is Ulapya. Okay, then Nama Urvyayacha Surmyayacha Namaha. The word Urvya can be confusing at times. It is coming from the word Uru. Okay, Urvi. Gotra Kuf Prithvi Urvi. Okay, Urvi means Bhumi. Okay, Urvyam Bhavaha Urvyaha. So he who exists in the form of Bhumi is called as Urvya. Nama Urvyayacha Surmyayacha Namaha. Urmi. Urmi means waves. The place or the body, the water body that contains beautiful waves. Shobhana Urmayaha Yasyam Nadyam Saha Sormaha. Okay, or Surmihi. Tatra Bhavaha Surmyaha. That is how it happens. So Surmya means Parameshwara who appears in the form of those rivers which or those water bodies which have beautiful waves. Surmya Namaha. Okay. Then there is another meaning for the word Surmi. Surmi is Antasushira Pratikritihi. So a form of Jyoti that appears within is also called as Surmi. Okay. He who appears in that form is also called as Surmya. Namah Paranyaya cha Paranashadhyaya cha. Parana, this should be one of the most easiest words to understand now that you have got a grip of how things work in Rudradhyaya. Parana means leaves. He who appears in the form of leaves is called as Paranya. Namah Paranyaya cha Paranashadhyaya cha. Shushkanam Patranam Sanghatah Paranashadaha. Paranashada means a place where all the fallen leaves stay. And that is called as Paranashada, and that is Parameshwara. Parameshwara appears in that form, Paranashadhyaya. And then Namaha Apaguramanaya Abhignatecha. Okay. Apaguramanaha. Apaguramana means he who has taken a weapon in his hand. Like in order to throw that weapon, he who has held the weapon in the motion of throwing that is called as apaguramana. Namopa guramanaya. While chanting Namopa guramanaya. Namopa guram apaguramana is the word. Namopa guramanaya cha abhignate cha. Okay. Abhignate means he who throws that. The one who has the ability to throw the weapon at the enemy is called as Abhignan. Okay. Then Nama Akhidate cha Prakhidate cha Namaha. Akhidate means Akhidan Ishat Khedin. He who generates only a little bit of pain to enemies is called as Akhidan. That much is sufficient for them. Prakhidan means he who creates profuse pain to them is called as Prakhidan. So Nama Akhidatecha Prakhidatecha Namaha. We don't have to worry. We really do not have to worry. You know, this Shatru Badha is something that is quite bothersome to many people. I have had the good fortune of interacting with some of the sadhakas, where they where I, in the capacity of a Jyotishi, has mentioned many a times to them, there is plenty of Shatruvadha to you, and they seem to not care about that. They never seem to care about that. It always used to irritate me that they are not taking me seriously. But now I understand why they do not take it seriously. They do not take it seriously because Nama Akhyadatecha Prakhyadatecha. If Paramatma wants to punish them only a little bit, let him take that. If Paramatma is going to hurt them profusely, because he is both of them, he is Akhyadate, he is Prakhyadate. And not to forget, he is Shivaha. I already told you who is Shiva. The regulation, the regulatory body of this entire creation is called as Shiva. Namah Shivaya cha, Shivataraya cha. When you are in that Paramatma Tattva at all times, what Shatruvadha will bother you? Yeah, we should be able to reach that, we should be able to attain such kind of form. Okay, anyway. Akhyadate cha, Prakhyadate cha Namaha. And then we have the next one. This is very, very important. Namo vah kirikebhyaha devanam hridayebhyaha. Devanagum hridayebhyaha while chanting. While understanding the meaning, it is devanam hridayebhyaha. They are at the core of devatas. They are the heart of devatas. Devanam hridayebhyaha. And what are they called as? Kirikebhyaha. They are called as kirika. Okay, not Kannada kirika. In Kannada, Kirika means he who creates all nuisance. It's called as Kirika. Yeah, not that one. This is a different idea. Kiranti. Kiranti means those who shower things is called as Kiranti. You have heard the word Vikiranti, Vikira, and all those things. Same idea. Your Vikira is basically Kiradhatu with V upasarga. You remove the upasarga, Kiranti. Kiranti Mangebhyo Bhagavad Shankaracharya in Saundarya Lahari. Once upon a time, I have to tell this. It's okay if it is time. I have to tell this. Um, as a student growing up, I was I was good in the sense that I had that appetite to learn everything. But after learning all these things, I went to my teacher, N.S. Ramabhadracharya. I went to him and I asked him that I have learned all these things. I'm ready to learn all the shlokas and everything. I understand. What is the guarantee that I will remember the right lines at the right time? He answered that it will come through. I was not satisfied with that answer at that point of time, honestly. But today I get it. That's it just happens. There is no methodology for that. Nobody can train themselves that, at this time, you cannot bloody program it, I tell you. You cannot simply program it, it just happens. I don't know. That is Guru Anugraham. That is Bhagavati Anugraham. That's all. There is nothing else. Otherwise, how would I be able to remember? If you ask me to chant the complete shloka, I wouldn't know. But I want specifically that portion to quote because that is what Jyotishis are supposed to do. We are not supposed to quote the entire shloka. We don't require. I only need to tell only this part. I need to remember only that part. Okay. Anyway, Namo Vahkirikebhya Kiranti Bhaktebhyo Dhanani. Those who shower all kinds of bounty and wealth to bhaktas, that forms of Rudra, those forms of Rudras, that plural. Now Rudra is experienced in plurality. From here onwards, he is experienced in plurality. So to all those Rudras who shower bounty and wealth on bhaktas, they are called as Kirikaha. Udaraha Rudravataraha, Sayanacharyaha. Rudravatara, they are the forms of Rudra who are quite benevolent and they're very giving at all times. They are called as Kirika. Kirikebhyaha, Namo Vahkirike. And this is Pratyaksha Kritaha, Ayam Chamantra Pratyaksha Kritaha is what Bhatta Bhaskara writes. Pratyaksha Kritaha because Vaha Kirikebhyo Namaha, the mantra says. Vaha means Yushmabhyam. Remember Tvat Shabda, Yushmat Shabda, Tvam Yuvam Yuyam. Tubhyante Yuvabhyam Vam Yushmabhyam Vaha. That Vaha is used here. Yushmabhyam. Nimmaгаlige, the ones who are right in front of me. Okay. Namo Vahkirikebhyo Devanam Hridayebhya. And they are Devanam Hridayebhya. Okay. Then Namo Vikshinakebhya. Namo Vichinvatkebhya, Nama Anirhatebhya, Namaha Amivatkebhya. Only 4 words here. Please allow me for 2 more minutes. I will finish this because from next class onwards, it will be the last two anuvakas of Rudradhyaya. That's why. Namo Vikshinakebhya. Vikshina means those who never decline. Kshinebhyo Viparitaha. Those who are opposite to Kshina. Kshina means to decline, to get reduced. Those who never get reduced, they are called as Vikshinaka. Vikshinake Kshayarahitaha. Those who do not have any sort of Kshaya, they are called as Vikshinakas. Namo Vikshinakebhya. And then Namo Vichinvatkebhya. While doing the Rudra Havanam, Rudra Homa, when it is done, Devanam Hridayebhya is added to all these things. For example, Namo Vahkirikebhyo Devanagam Hridayebhya, and then Namo Vikshinakebhyo Devanagam Hridayebhya Swaha, like that. It's not only Namo Vahkirikebhyo Devanagam Hridayebhya Swaha, and then Namo Vikshinakebhya Swaha. No, Namo Vikshinakebhyo Devanagam Hridayebhya Swaha, like that in Rudra Havanam. So they are also Rudra's Hridaya Bhuta. They are the heart, they are the core of Rudra, Vikshinakas. And then Vichinvatkas. Vichinvanti means Apekshitam Artham Sampadayanti. Those who fetch the desired objects for us, those who fetch all the desired things for us, they are called as Vichinvatkaha. What a beautiful name. Namo Vichinvatkebhyo Devanam Hridayebhyo Namaha. And then Nama Anirhatebhyaha. Those who are capable enough to dismiss or destroy papa completely. Okay. Asamantat nisheshena hatam papam yaihi te anirhataha. Anirhatebhyo namaha. And that is the Rudra's Hridaya. Nama anirhatebhyaha. And then Namaha amivatkebhyaha. Asamantat mivanti. Mivanti means they get well built or pushti, that is called as mivanti. Okay, amivatkebhyah sthuli bhavam prapnuvanti. Those who grow well at all times, those who are always well fed, those who appear to be well fed, that kind of devanam hridayebhyah, those who are at the heart of Rudra, those who are the heart of Rudra. Nama amivatkebhyah devanam hridayebhyah. Iti navamo anuvaka. This concludes the ninth anuvaka of Rudradhyaya. Then we have drape andhasaspate daridran neelalohita. Yesham purushanam yesham pashunam ma bhehe ma ro ma yesham mo yesham kinchana amamati. That is how the mantra goes. That we will see from next week onwards. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much for being so very patient and gracious enough to allow me to speak for 6 extra minutes. Almost 10 extra minutes. Sorry. Thank you. Thank you very much. Namaste.